Somewhere in eastern Ukraine, a Russian T-72 tank commander scans the horizon through his periscope. 3 tons of reactive armor protect him. A 25mm cannon gives him the firepower to level a building. He's riding in 70 tons of Soviet engineering designed to dominate the battlefield. He never sees what kills him. A quadcopter smaller than a briefcase, quieter than a lawnmower, bought online for less than a smartphone drops from 400 feet above. In 3 seconds, the tank erupts into a fireball visible for miles. This is not science fiction. This is Tuesday in Ukraine, and it's changing. Everything we thought we knew about war. To understand how we got here, we need to rewind the clock. For over a century, the tank has been the undisputed king of ground warfare. From the muddy trenches of World War I to the desert storms of Iraq, armored vehicles represented mobile, protected firepower that infantry simply couldn't match. The equation was simple: tanks beat soldiers. Anti-tank weapons were heavy, expensive, and required extensive training. A Javelin missile cost $780,000. A trained crew takes months to prepare, and even then you had to get close enough to the tank to matter, often within a few hundred meters. But in 2022, something changed. When Russia invaded Ukraine, military analysts predicted a swift victory. Russia had over 12,000 tanks. Ukraine had roughly 2,000. The math seemed simple. Overwhelming armor superiority would decide the war in weeks. They were wrong. Within the first 6 months, Russia lost over 2,000 tanks, not to other tanks, not to javelins or artillery, to something far more insidious: commercially available drones modified in garages and workshops across Ukraine. Welcome to the drone revolution, where the hunter has become the hunted. Let's talk about the weapon itself. The drones obliterating Russian armor aren't military-grade Reapers or billion-dollar stealth aircraft. Most are G-Mavic 3S, Autel Evos, or custom-built FPV racing drones, the same technology teenagers use to film skateboard videos. Here's what makes them lethal. First, cost. A modified quadcopter with a munition cost between $400 and $3,000. The tank it destroys, $2 to $5 million. The economic calculus is devastating. Ukraine can lose 100 drones for every tank destroyed and still come out ahead. Second, accessibility. You don't need years of training. Operators learn the basics in days, master the craft in weeks. Compare that to a tank crew, which requires months of specialized training and constant maintenance support. Third, vulnerability exploitation. Modern tanks are designed to resist threats from the front and sides where enemy tanks and anti-tank missiles engage. Their top armor, often just 20 to 40 millimeters of steel. It's the Achilles heel of modern armor design. A drone drops a P-7 warhead, the same explosive tip used in RPG-7 rockets, directly onto the engine deck or turret roof. The shaped charge penetrates. The ammunition inside cooks off. The tank is gone. But the technology is only half the story. The real revolution is in tactics. Imagine you're a Russian tank commander advancing through farmland in Zaporizhia Oblast. You're part of a column: 5 tanks, 3 armored personnel carriers, supporting infantry. Standard formation. You've done this 100 times in training, then you hear it, or rather you don't hear it. Modern FPV drones are nearly silent at altitude. By the time you hear the high-pitched whine of the rotors, it's already diving. Ukrainian operators work in teams. One pilot flies a reconnaissance drone high altitude. Thermal camera, loitering over enemy positions. They spot your column from 3 kilometers away. They relay coordinates. The strike pilot launches his FEV kamikaze drone. He's sitting in a trench wearing FEV goggles, controlling the drone through a live video feed. To him, it's like playing a video game, except the explosions are real. He flies low, 10 meters off the ground, using tree lines and buildings for cover. He approaches from your rear, where you're least expecting it. You're scanning forward, watching for Ukrainian infantry, monitoring radio chatter. The drone climbs to 400 feet. The pilot tilts forward. Gravity and thrust accelerate it to 100 kilometers per hour. You have 3 seconds. You don't even know you're under attack until the shaped charge detonates against your turret roof. In the first year of the war, this happened hundreds of times, every single day. The Russians adapted. They had to. They started welding crude metal cages over their tank turrets, what soldiers mockingly called coke cages. The idea: detonate the drone's warhead before it hit the armor. Did it work? Sometimes. Against older, less precise drone drops, the cages could deflect or prematurely detonate munitions. But Ukrainian operators adapted faster. They switched to tandem charge warheads. The first charge detonates the cage, the second penetrates the armor beneath. They began using vertical dive attacks, coming straight down where cages were weakest. The Russians deployed electronic warfare units, jamming systems designed to disrupt drone signals. Effective at close range, but they revealed their positions and became priority targets for artillery. They tried thermal smoke screens, constant movement, dispersed. formations, and still the drones found them. Because here's the fundamental problem: a tank is loud, hot, and massive. It shows up on thermal imaging like a bonfire in a dark forest. And once a drone operator has eyes on you, there's almost nothing you can do. You can't outrun it. You can't hide from it. You can't shoot it down with a tank cannon designed for targets kilometers away, not a drone 50 meters above your head. And the psychological effect, it's devastating. There's a reason Ukrainian drone footage is all over social media. Every video serves a dual purpose: intelligence, documentation, and psychological warfare. Imagine you're a Russian conscript. Before you deploy, you've seen dozens of these videos. Tanks just like the one you're about to crew, exploding in fields just like the ones you're about to cross. You know that somewhere above you, invisible and silent, a drone might be watching, waiting. This isn't the terror of artillery, which is random and impersonal. This is targeted, personal. Someone is hunting you specifically. They can see you. They're choosing when you die. Russian tank crews began refusing orders, abandoning vehicles. Some units reported psychological casualties, soldiers who couldn't function after witnessing repeated drone strikes. And here's the strategic brilliance. Every abandoned tank is a tank Ukraine doesn't have to destroy. Every demoralized crew is an infantry unit that won't fight effectively. The drone doesn't just destroy equipment, it destroys will. And that might be its greatest weapon of all. So what does this mean? Not just for Ukraine, but for the future of warfare itself. First, the tank isn't dead, but its role has fundamentally changed. Tanks still matter in combined arms operations, urban warfare, and breakthrough assaults. But the era of massed armor columns rolling across open terrain, that's over. Any modern military must now assume the sky is hostile, not from jets or helicopters, but from swarms of small, cheap drones. Second, the defense industry is in crisis. Western militaries have spent trillions developing exquisite weapons systems: 10 million javelins, $90 million F-35s, billion-dollar destroyers. Ukraine proved you can achieve strategic effects with technology you can buy at Best Buy. The Pentagon is watching, so is Beijing, so is every military in the world. Third, this is just the beginning. The drones in Ukraine are still manually piloted. Humans make targeting decisions, but AI-powered autonomous drones are already in development. Imagine swarms of 1,000 drones coordinating attacks, selecting targets without human input, adapting to electronic warfare in real time. We're not just watching a new tactic, we're watching the birth of a new form of warfare. And once this technology spreads, and it will spread because it's too cheap and too effective to contain, every conflict will be fought this way. The question isn't whether other nations will adopt this. The question is how fast. On a muddy field in eastern Ukraine, a burned-out tank sits abandoned, its turret blown clean off, its armor scorched black. There's no monument here, no plaque explaining what happened, just another data point in a war that's rewriting the rules of combat. But this tank represents something bigger than one battlefield loss. It represents the end of an era. For 100 years, we built bigger tanks, thicker armor, more powerful guns. We assumed that protection and firepower would always dominate the battlefield. We were wrong. The lesson of Ukraine isn't just about drones. It's about adaptability, asymmetry, the willingness to embrace technology that established militaries dismiss as toys, because in war, the side that adapts fastest doesn't just win battles, they define the future. And right now, that future is being written in the skies above Ukraine 1, drone strike at a time. The age of the tank isn't over, but the age of invincibility that ended the moment a 500 drone proved it could kill a king.